Welcome to Sahasrara Yoga Meditation and the Meditation Step Up series. So this is designed for advanced meditators. If you haven't meditated in Sahasrara Yoga before, if you didn't get your self-realization, please check our Meditation First Steps series. So I hope everyone is settled at home. So what we are going to do, like we always do when we start a meditation, is to raise our Kundalini and put ourselves in a bandhan. So we raise our Kundalini 3 times. With a knot on top. And while doing that, we put our attention inside. And now we are putting ourselves in a bandhan with the right hand starting at the left side, half a circle around us and back 7 times. And we can meditate a couple of minutes just to settle down. We can put our attention above our head or on top of our head. And go into that state of thoughtless awareness in this present moment. So today we are going to talk about the right side, the right channel within us. On the chart, it's the channel that's in yellow. It's the sun side within us, while when we saw the left side, it was more the moon side in us. And this channel starts at the level of the 2nd chakra, called the Svadhisthana. And it crosses at the level of the 6th chakra at the optic chiasm, and it ends up in what we call the ego, which is this yellow balloon here we have on the left side of our head. In Sanskrit, it's called as the Pingala Nadi. In the Chinese tradition, it's the yang, from the yin and the yang. And in the medical science, it is known as the right sympathetic system, nervous system. So what are the qualities of the right side? The right side gives us energy. The right side in us is the power of action. You saw last time, we talked about the power of desire, the power of our emotions. Now this desire is translated into action when we start using our right side. At the physical level, it is related, linked to the 5 elements. So the right side is also linked to, if you want, this material world. While at the mental level, it is linked to our consciousness. It gives us a consciousness to actually understand and relate to things. So the right side is all about our physical aspect and our mental aspect as well. So what you get when you have a fully developed right side, you get a lot of dynamism. You have this ability to do things, and you have the ability to act. And not only doing it, use that actions, but do it with warmth, meaning you can combine this beautiful dynamism that we can develop with actually the warmth of the heart, that selfless love that we can develop, and that's integral to actually develop a proper right side. The best way to illustrate that is to talk about the principle of the right side, which is represented by Shri Mahasarasvati and Shri Hanumana. Shri Hanumana and Shri Mahasarasvati are deities in the Indian traditions, and Shri Hanumana embodies beautifully what a proper right side is all about. And because he was depicted as someone with all the power, the most powerful person, but at the same time he had this complete devotion to God, he had this complete devotion to Sri Sita and Sri Rama. So it is important that when we become dynamic, then when we go into action, we actually develop that heart, that warmth, that love for others, which allows us to actually act in a benevolent way. The right side also helps us to overcome our conditionings, and it gives us the ability to plan, to change, and to improve and grow as well. And it is done best when the right side is developed with the wisdom of the first chakra. And when you have this power of the right side, suddenly you start doing things and we are not overthinking it, we are not frozen by indecision. And we do it and suddenly we realize that things fall into place once we start taking the first few steps, and things just happen. So these are the qualities of the right side. I probably forgot quite a few. It is certainly the solar channel within us, and now I would like to talk about what are the problems that can be developed if the right side is not in balance. So what is happening if we overuse our right side, if our right channel is out of balance? What happens is that we don't know where to stop when we do things, and we go to extremes. And when we go to extremes in our activity, in our thinking, we end up doing stupid things. I would like to take an analogy of a car. The right side is the accelerator, the left side is the brake. So when you drive normally, you use both equally to actually go straight and drive properly. But imagine if you keep your foot on the accelerator all the time, full throttle, I can guarantee that the engine won't like it and won't last very long, or you might end up in trouble on the road. So people that overdevelop their right side and neglect their left side can become very egoistical people, ascetic people, very materialistic people, because the right side at the physical level is related to the material world, to the 5 elements around us. We can develop hot temper, be quite angry, and people with an extreme right side are very aggressive to other people because they don't care and they don't perceive, even feel the other people. They don't understand the feelings of other people because it's all about I, and they only see themselves. As a result, these people can become very dry personalities without the warmth, without the love, the selfless love that should be part of our being. People that are too much on the right side also become very futuristic and can't stop thinking. And it can go to such extent that when you go to bed, you can't even sleep because you are thinking so much. So the ideal is, again, to keep our subtle system in balance, the left, the right, being in the central channel, and enjoy the present moment. At the physical level, the right side that's out of balance can also create health issues, serious health issues, because we have too much heat in our body. Issues like liver problems, diabetes if we think too much, blood cancer, heart attacks if we overuse our right side and we actually neglect our left side. So, how to stay in balance? We are going to cover that after the video of Shri Mataji that we are going to listen to now. It's a video where Shri Mataji talks about the right side in more details. The video is from 1982, so it's a little dark, but it's still we can see it and hear it properly. So let's enjoy Shri Mataji's talk, and I'll join you again later.
All right. Now the second side, on the right hand side, is the power by which we act. First we desire and then we act. Now this power, right side power, is expressed within us as right sympathetic nervous system. Science has come from the same. Science is in the gross, these are all subtle things that are within us. Now this right side power, which exists within us, gives us the power for our mental and physical capacity to act. Now this action takes place when we desire something, we want to implement that desire, then we go into action. One has to understand what sort of a power is this. This power is called as Prana Shakti in Sanskrit, Prana. And the another one, the left one, as Mana Shakti, is the power of the emotions, or can say of the mind. But you see, English language is not so clear-cut about it. So I would say Mana Shakti and Prana Shakti. These are the two powers that exist within us, and we start using them as left and right, we can say like a brake and an accelerator, and then we become the master of driving. But while becoming that, we make mistakes. The human mind has a speciality to go to extremes. Supposing I tell somebody, now you have to meditate. They'll meditate for 5 hours. There is no need to meditate for 5 hours or anything. But if you tell them that you have to stand on your head, they'll do it for 10 hours. So there is no need to go to extremes. We have to be just in the center, be kind to our body, be kind to ourselves. There's nothing to be frantic about. There's nothing to be so much exasperated about it. It's just very simple thing that has to happen. For example, think of a seed which is sown in a very loud music, or say a place where everybody is rushing, shouting, screaming. What will happen? That seed will never sprout. If it is in a peaceful place, is a properly placed one, or not in a tilted pot, then it will definitely develop into a beautiful tree or a beautiful shrub, whatever it has to develop into. In the same way, if we are too much on the extremes, we go to the left and to the right. Now going to the left, I told you yesterday what happens, that all these things like hypnosis and ESPs and most of these gurus try these tricks, you see, like they just make you hypnotized and people become absolutely mad over the guru. He's our guru, and they behave just like absolutely people without any brains. So I feel nice with it. The reason is that you feel there's a sort of a sense of security built in this gentleman, and if I'm following him, see, he's going to heaven and I'm going with him to heaven. It doesn't happen like that. You have to individually go into heaven yourself, and you have to become your own guru, and you have to know everything about it. It's not that anybody can put a trailer behind and put some people into it and say, now come along, I'm going to heaven. Most of these people are really going to hell, and you will follow them very fast. So it is never so, believe me, that anybody who says that following a certain guru will go to heaven is absolutely wrong. You must follow in the principle. And every guru who is a real guru will always tell you that you have to become something. He will never just say, all right, you've given me the money, all right, you are the member, now you are my child, now you are my disciple, and I give you my love. Let's have love. Where is the love? And give more money, give me Rolls Royces, give me this, give me that. At life mad, we are doing it thinking that we can exchange this. Now, as we are seekers, we have every right to find our spirits. And we are not to be deluded by any such tricks and pranks of these people, or I would say very sinister methods that they are employing. Not only to deceive you for money. I don't mind there are smugglers, let them have money what they want to have. But they spoil your chances of realization, which you do not realize. And once they are spoiled, it's very difficult to do realization. And if you do not really positively work it out, it's going to be an impossible situation. I've seen people who have suffered on account of this. Now this action within us acts for our mental and physical capacities on the right hand side. Like we think of the future. Now we're planning, we start. It's planning. Now we must do this tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We have to do it, and we start sitting. Now I'll go there and I'll find this, and then I'll take a ticket, and then I'll go there. I mean, our mind is working for the future. So much so we become absolutely futuristic. To such an extent, sometimes I've met people who are futuristic, they even forget their own names. Can you believe it? I mean, they don't even remember their father's name, that's all right, but even their own names they forget. I mean, they are like mad because they don't remember their own names, and they don't know where are they, what are they doing. I have met people of that kind who are really sick people because they have become so futuristic now that they do not know anything about their past. Now, this futuristic behavior starts in a society where people always think of the future. What will I do? What am I to do tomorrow? What am I to achieve tomorrow? And all these things, when they start doing, their attention goes to the right extreme. Now, in this place, we are very dangerously placed. Very dangerously placed when we start looking for the future. And the future seeing is a imaginary stuff. It's absolutely imaginary. Because what you think of the future doesn't exist. What exists is the present. You have to be in the present, not in the future. But people will say you have to be in the present. But how? We cannot. Either we are in the past or in the future. Because when the thought wave rises, it comes up and goes down. Another thought wave rises, goes up and comes down. Now, this thought wave which comes up, we go with it, but we don't see it's going down. Another thought wave that rises, we see that, but we don't see where it goes out. And so we are jumping on the cusp of these thoughts, and we do not know. Perhaps we are in the past, or perhaps in the future. But in the center of these two thoughts, there is the present. And we don't know how to take our attention there, which is a very difficult thing. And just to say that you should be in the center is not possible. All these things, you should do this, you should do that, is not going to work out. Unless and until there is light. For example, there is no light in this room. And you say, walk straight. You cannot walk because you can't see where is the passage, how to walk. Even if you order, do whatever you please, you cannot just walk straight without touching any of these chairs because there is no light, you can't see. So, one has to understand that in the futuristic life when we live, when we plan too much for the future, actually what we are doing, we are living in an imaginary world. We have many stories of people who lived in imaginary worlds and how they found that everything was destroyed. And there are people who work it out through their physical efforts, and when they go into their physical efforts, they create another problem for them because they just become physically oriented people. And if you are just physically oriented, the spirit gets angry. So the right side movement is for the people who are very meticulous, you see what you call the people who are very particular about the time, and who are very firm about things, who are very dry people, and who are very straight, and they won't tolerate any nonsense. That sort of people, you see, that you find normally, and that sort of people become a headache, and they are very boring. You can't just bear their company. They can be very boring people. And they give you big lectures about how to be straightforward and how to walk straight, absolutely. In the nature, nothing is straight. It all moves so beautifully because the nature is created out of varieties. And variety brings the beauty. They don't think of beauty, they don't think of love or compassion, nothing. For them, it is a very meticulous world, and that's how they live. Such people are developing a big ego within themselves, as you see there. Is the yellow stuff in the head called as ego. Let me show. Right. By the action of the left side, emotional side, we develop a superego, but by the action of the right side, we develop an ego. Now this ego is not easy to be seen, because if you have a superego, you have pains in the body, you are a miserable person, you have wrinkles on the face, and you look absolutely worn out. But if you have ego, then you look so dynamic. We can say that Hitler was the extreme of this ego business. And he got into his head that he is some sort of a God incarnation, and that he has to save the people, and he was the one who knows about races and everything, and he is supposed to save some race. This kind of idea comes from these people who are right-sided. They are very aggressive. They may be very good to talk to. They may be very humble to look at. Could be very good businessmen. Could be anything. But they do not know that they have this Mr. Ego coming up on their heads just like a big balloon, and they are floating in the air. The end of ego is stupidity. You'll be surprised. The end of ego is stupidity. Such people indulge into all kinds of stupid things, and they say, what's wrong? For example, I've known old people behaving in so stupid ways, and they say, what's wrong? You know, an old man, say, of 90 years, who can't even walk without a stake, stakes to these dances you do, and then he falls down, you see, and he thinks, what's wrong? Like a lady I knew, she was about 85, she died from a horse falling down. Naturally, what else do you expect at 85? That's what is evident. For a lady of 85, she should settle down at home, look after her grandchildren. Maybe she might be having great-grandchildren, you see. Instead of that, why does she want to be 25-year-old lady to climb on a horse? So all such stupid things they do, and then they will say, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong in stupidity, what's wrong? But such people are a nuisance to the society, to others. The people who are superego are troublesome to themselves. But those are egoistical are troublesome to others. They are all the time correcting others, torturing others, putting their ideas onto other people. And such people can be very, very successful, because nothing succeeds like success. They go on hammering things into the heads of people, saying, now, this is true, this is true. And when you go on saying it, you should suddenly believe, yes, must be so. And such people are much more dangerous, I would say, from the superego type.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video of Shri Mataji about the right side. Now, let's see how we can correct the right side. And the best way, like anything in Sahaja Yoga, is to meditate. You cannot replace meditation every day to actually improve your subtle channel and put yourself in balance. That's really the fundamental of our growth. Because the right side is the solar channel, because the right side is can have excess heat, we don't use candles for treatment like we did for the left side. So as always, when we meditate, we have a photo of Shri Mataji and a candle in front of there, that's fine. But don't use a candle to actually correct your vibrations on the right side. The other thing that's very, very useful for the right side is the foot soak that we have covered in our meditation first steps. So when you do your foot soak, use water that's a bit on the cooler side, put some salt in it, and simply do your foot soak like that in the evening. And that will certainly help you cool the right side quite a bit. In terms of eating habits, you can potentially reduce the protein intake that you have, because the proteins are again giving a lot of energy to the right side, to your body. So maybe reducing it a bit is a good idea. And maybe take food that's not too harsh on your liver, or even cooling food like yogurt, for example. Now, the last three techniques that I want to talk about are techniques we are going to use in the meditation that we are all going to have in a minute. So the first technique, if you put your hands on your laps, is to put the left hand toward the sky, the palm facing backwards, like that, and the right hand stays on your lap. And by that, it's like we want to remove all the excess heat we have in our body and let it go, like Coach Mini here, on our left hand. So this is a technique we are going to apply in our meditation. The second technique we are going to use in our meditation is called balancing. So if we have an overdeveloped right side, it also means our left side is not developed enough. So we are balancing it, moving the left side and bringing down the right side. So moving up the left with the right hand, go over our head and bringing down the right. And we will do that 7 times, like that. The last technique, which you all know now, that we use to improve a specific aspect of ourselves are the mantras. And the mantra of the right side is the mantra of Shri Mahasarasvati Anumana. And as always, when we are going to meditate, we are going to put the text of this mantra on the screen if you are not used to the structure of the mantra yet. All right? So let's go in meditation. Let's put our hands on our laps. Let's close our eyes. Let's put our attention on top of our head. And let go every thoughts, any plans for the future, or whatever happens in the past. All that doesn't exist. And let's try to be in the present moment, in thoughtless awareness, where we grow. So, as always, when we start the meditation, we can start with the mantra of Shri Ganesha, who is the principle of the first chakra, the Muladhara chakra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. And we can put our hands together in a namaste. If you still have thoughts, simply forgive your thoughts. Let them go. And try to witness what you can feel in your hands. And try to enjoy the peace and the silence within. Now let's put our left hand towards the sky, palm backwards, and the right hand stays on our lap. And here we can simply ask within ourselves that all the excess heat in us goes away, that all the problems of our right side, overactivity, overthinking, just disappears in thin air. If you don't feel any vibrations at all in your hands, any coolness, this is also a great exercise, because by removing the heat, you might actually start feeling this coolness. And we can bring our left hand back on our lap. Now we are going to balance. Bring the left up and the right down. So let's do it together 7 times. The right hand moving up on the left side, around our head and down on our right side. We don't go back, and we do that 7 times. and we can put back our right hand on our lap. And just witness if you can feel more coolness. Whether you feel it or not, just don't react. Just observe. And try to settle in the thoughtless awareness. Which is the state of meditation. Now the third technique that I mentioned before is the mantra of Sri Mahasarasvati Hanumana. So we can all say it together. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahasarasvati Hanumana Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. And now with our attention firmly on top of our head, we can say the three great mantras of the Sahasrara chakra, or seventh chakra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahalakshmi Mahasarasvati Mahakali Trigunatmika Kundalini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Sahasrara Swamini Moksha Pradayini Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Keeping our attention on top of our head, we can just enjoy this state of meditation, this present moment, where we are connected with the all-pervading power. It is in meditation that we grow. It is in meditation that our questions are answered within ourselves. It is in meditation that the divine is manifested through us. We can slowly open our eyes. Just see what you can feel in your hands, the coolness. You might want to check it above your head as well. All right. To finish the meditation, as always, we are going to raise our Kundalini and put ourselves in abandon. I hope you enjoyed this session on the right side. I hope you felt the vibration and had a great meditation. So this is it, and I'm looking forward to see you again for our next session about the Kundalini within us. So in the meantime, thank you very much.